This is the You Belong podcast, a podcast for all photographers where we throw out competition and comparison and instead embrace community and growth. We have the ability to learn from each other, and this podcast does just that. I'm Allison Hatch. Join us each episode because you belong. Hey, Kami, thank you so much for being on today. I appreciate it. I am so excited to talk to you. You're another film lover like me, and that is how we connected through Instagram, was through our love of film. And I am so excited to talk to you about the film community today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I can talk all day about film, so you might have to rein me in, but I'm excited.
No, I can too. So we'll both have to rein each other in because I could talk about film forever. Let's start with the film community. So you recently took over Film Follow Friday from Liz Glenn, who is amazing. She has her own podcast. If you guys haven't listened to it, it's called Soul Over the Bones. It's fantastic. But she decided it was time for her to put it down. And I noticed that it was getting thinner and thinner the amount of times that it was on Instagram. So tell me the backstory about how and why you took over Film Follow Friday.
Yeah, so it was kind of just something I have followed Liz and Film Follow Friday for a long time, probably almost as long as she's done it. And I know, I just connected with so many people through that group, following the hashtag, seeing other artists' work, making friends through it. I looked forward to every Friday and seeing who she shared, what was shared, kind of just what was going on within the community. And I think I don't want to speak for Liz, but if her life just got busy and it just kind of got quieter and quieter. And I just really found myself missing it. I would check every Friday to see maybe she'll have it this week. And I just was really craving that again. And so I just really thought about it. I was like, do I start something new myself? What could I start? And then I just was like, well, why start from ground zero? She's already created this amazing community of, like-minded film photographers who are also it's very inclusive and encouraging. And I didn't want to lose that sense that was in that community. And so I just kind of reached out to her and I was like, this is way out of nowhere. You might not be open to the idea, but I was just curious if you would be interested if I kind of just took the lead on it. And she kind of took some time to think about it. And she was like, yeah, I think it's time for me to just step back and for you to take the reins. So that's what I did. And it's been really fun. I'm still learning and figuring kind of things out, how they work for myself, but it's been really great.
Yeah. So listeners, if you don't know what Film Follow Friday is, it's a hashtag. A lot of people say hashtags are dead, and I don't agree with that. I think that hashtags are still a way of connecting with other people. And I know in the film community, there's a lot of awesome hashtags to connect with each other. And hashtag Film Follow Friday is one of them. And so Liz used to take images from the hashtag and then share them on her Instagram stories. And it just was a really great way, like Kami said, to connect with different film photographers that you may not have ever come across because of Instagram and how they want to show you what they think they want to show you. And Kami took it over. So Kami, tell me more about the community that you've met through Film Follow Friday. It had to have been something really powerful for you to want to be able to continue this hashtag group.
Yeah. And, kind of like what you said with Instagram, I think sometimes we're just kind of fed the same thing over and over again. And I just always kind of felt like that's what I was getting, was just kind of a lot of the same stuff. And so with Film Follow Friday and kind of seeing what Liz shared, it was just really fun to be able to, there's such a variety, I think, of people who share stuff in that group, and just seeing some of that more experimental stuff. And I know when Liz started it, that was kind of part of the reason why she started it was to find kind of other film photographers who had that similar voice, who, were maybe trying different techniques or playing around with their style, or, lots of colors or film soup, or, whatever aspect of that kind of experimental film was. And so just I'm inspired by it, seeing people do some like crazy stuff with film. And that's been one of the things I just love the most about learning and using film. It's just like the things people are doing is just so cool. And like people can be so creative with it. And I really, we have that sense, I think, is really strong in that Film Follow Friday community. And so that's what I was really missing when I first reached out to Liz, is just seeing more of that in the community.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of different film photographers, but the Follow Friday community is definitely the creative bunch. They push the envelope of what film can, should, would, I don't know, like all these different crazy things. So, like, what techniques have you learned from other photographers through this community that you have tried and liked, or maybe tried and didn't like? Like, what have you tried from this group?
Yeah. Well, film soup, that's a big one, which I love.
Mhm.
I love to do film soup, but I think that group is where I maybe first saw film soup. And of course, the first time you see it, you're kind of like, what is this? It's like maybe what you see. And so that really kind of spiked my interest. And even just like playing around with light leaks. When I first started learning film and I opened the back of my camera, you have that like heart stop moment, like, oh no, you've ruined it. And, just
Mhm.
like going from that kind of thought process to like, oh no, I have to throw this roll away, to like, oh no, like I'm now intentionally using this to create something. And then there's, I mean, still stuff on there too I haven't tried that I would love to try. Some of the Polaroid emulsions and all the things people are doing on that with that too. So it's still lots to learn, but those have been some of my favorites.
Yeah. So you're also a family photographer. Have you pulled some of these creative techniques into your client work?
I have, yeah. Just I'm kind of working on rebranding right now, so things feel a little bit up in the air still for me. But yeah, this last year I went actually full film for all of my family sessions. My digital just kind of collected dust, which, to be honest, would be the way I would prefer it anyways.
Mhm,
um,
same.
so yeah, this last year I just kind of started incorporating more of that into my client work. Some light leaks, a little bit of film soup, as well as doing some stuff with like Holgas and the sprockets and 35 millimeter and all that too.
Okay, let's talk Holgas. Okay, listeners, if you don't know what a Holga is, it is a plastic camera. Like it's totally like something you should get out of a McDonald's Happy Meal. It is that it seems of that quality of plastic. There are multiple levels of Holgas, but it's a toy camera. It doesn't have anything fancy, nothing at all fancy about it. And there is like this community that just love it. And I know that you do a lot of Holga stuff and you're in the Holga community as well. I have yet to fall in love with my Holga. Can you tell me your magic? Like, what do you love about this camera? Because your images are way better than mine. I just don't think I figured it out, or me and my camera haven't become friends yet. But you like, what is that magic? What is that draw to a Holga?
I think with Holgas, I kind of go into it with like no expectations,
Smart.
because just like really never know what you're gonna get. Um, I think that's what I love about it, is just again that like sense of surprise. I almost every time I get a rollback from my Holga, I'm like, this isn't what I thought it was gonna be, but I love it. So it's just kind of that like fun sense of like freedom, and I think just being able to kind of embrace like the the like spontaneity, I guess, that can kind of just come out of it. And also, I mean, I love it, but it's also the bane of my existence. Like sometimes I'm like, why do I shoot this dang thing? Times I've dropped it and the back's fallen off, and I mean, or I've
Mhm.
opened it and then the rolls come apart. I mean, it's just like it can be a headache as much as it is a joy to also shoot on it. But it's a great little camera.
No, I think that that is something that I love about film is honestly you're letting go of control in some level. Like some film photographers, are so good and they only do one thing. And so it's very predictable what their outcome is. But in this like Film Follow Friday community, it's about creativity. And when you're using film, you are inviting in creative energy and you're letting go of control. And I think with Holga, you're like letting go of most of the control and allowing creative energy. And do you feel the same way about film? Like, do you feel this like partnership? Maybe I'm just way too woo like out there. I don't know. But like inviting in this creative energy and like the universe and what creation wants to work with you and letting go of control and letting film be that vessel for whatever it's going to be. Because you don't know, like you said, you don't know what you're going to get when you get back your Holga. Do you feel the same way about it or am I just by myself on this?
100%. I think I guess I don't know if this is a huge thing, but I feel like in the film community you hear kind of like that. Oh, the film gods know, right? Like the film gods know what's going to happen and how it's going to work, and like you think it's going to be this way, but then the film's going to be like, no, it's actually going to be this way, and then you get it and you're like, oh, this is even better than what I could have planned. Sometimes it's not, but I feel like most of the times you do get it, and it is like, wow, this is even better than what I imagined. But I totally agree. I think it's just like, yeah, a lessening of the control of it. And I think that's part of the appeal too. For me, at least, that's part of it.
Absolutely. And I think that's why we're like, digital feels so uncomfortable because we are in love with that process, in love with that spontaneity, the film gods or whatever, that, partnership. And with digital's awesome. Digital can do amazing things. And I'm not like downplaying digital, but for me as an artist, and it sounds like for you as an artist, digital just isn't the medium for me. It has way too much control and I can manipulate it so much. And I love this unknown. I love this sense of unknown and letting in whatever is supposed to be let in. And maybe I need to embrace that with my whole. If you have been following You Belong podcast for a while, or me, Allison Hatch Photo, for a while, you know that film is just my jam. It is my love. It is what I am called to create with. It is this process that is slow and present and authentic and real and tangible. And oh, I could just go on and on and on. So I have created the Analog Artist Workshop. This is going to be a really intimate, 10 people only retreat in North County, San Diego, in this gorgeous house on a hill overlooking the foothills of San Diego and the ocean. And we're going to be spending time together, learning film, tapping into that creativity, which you all know I love to talk about and do, learning new techniques, double exposures, film soup, processing, working with light. We will be having 2 stylized shoots. Food is included. We're going to be doing headshots and portfolio reviews and just having way too much fun playing with film. We would love for you to join us April 27th and 28th. All of the details are in the show notes, or you can find more on my website at allisonhatch.photo /analog-artist.
When I first started as a photographer, I was at shooting digital, trying to emulate film for a long time, and then finally just jumped on the film bandwagon and started to learn. And I feel like that's how I've really come to find my voice, is by shooting film, because it's just, again, it's, I think, just a different process shooting it. I, with digital myself, I tend to just overthink it and
Yeah.
overshoot, and then that in and of itself kind of just wrecks my creativity. Or even like sometimes even the instant seeing it like can be almost like disheartening to me, or I just give up, or I just end up being like, oh, okay, this is good enough. Versus with film, I'm having to kind of imagine it before I actually see it. So I might try something a little bit differently, or I might try it multiple times, or I might try it with a light leak or a double exposure, or, just different ways to be more creative than I find that I am when I shoot digital.
Yeah. So I feel like, yeah, with film, I also have noticed I need to be more present. I have to be more present in what's happening. And with digital, I'm so behind the camera because I'm like, you can see it right away and you're like checking it. And oh, I should just tweak this a little bit or tweak this a little bit. And when you shoot film, like you said, you have to imagine it. You have to be there with your clients or with whatever creative project you're doing so much more, and trusting that you know what you're doing. And I feel like digital just is a constant, like, oh, you don't have it quite right. It's that, like, doesn't allow me to trust my creative process nearly as much as film does.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree.
Okay, so what, like, how with the Film Follow Friday, um have you created any like really great friendships through it? I know we've talked about all the creative processes that you have tried or would like to try. I mean, there's so many more. I mean, like Cenotypes, I would love to try. I've done it like twice, and I know some people do that with film, but you don't see that a whole lot. And other creative techniques, but friendships, like the community part of it. How do you feel about that? Like, have you made some great friendships that have helped change your business or your creative process?
Yeah, I definitely have. I feel like I've connected with probably a lot of the people that I talk to or I've had friendships kind of through Instagram. I've met
Mhm.
that community. And even just like a lot of the people who I follow now for inspiration or ideas or just kind of to see what they're up to. A lot of them I've found through that community. And, I've attended some workshops with different people and built even in person friendships that I feel like a lot of it kind of stems back to that community, the Film Follow Friday community, finding people through that, and even just kind of the experimental film group that is also in that Film Follow Friday. I was going to say something else and then it slipped my mind.
It happens. That's obviously it just happened to me.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, and now too, as like kind of curating it, it's been really fun. I feel like I'm seeing even more of that. Um, Maybe because I'm constantly in the hashtag now, like looking always to see who's posting stuff, what they're posting, and then sharing it as well. And I've had people follow me through that I probably wouldn't have found their account if we hadn't had that kind of connection. So that's also been really cool just to see kind of the new friends and accounts that I've been able to connect with through that.
Yeah, totally. Same. That's how we met, was through Film Photo Friday. Like, I
Yeah.
would never have come across your account because we live on totally opposite sides of the country. So what do you envision for Film Follow Friday? Do you want to keep it as it is, or do you have like a vision or an idea of like expanding it somehow or changing it or making it your own? Like, what do you have for the future for Film Follow Friday?
I'm so glad you asked because I've been sitting on that. So I kind of started I think it was about mid September is when I kind of took over from Liz. And um, of course, for all of us, that like September, October through Christmas is kind of a little crazy. So I didn't have a whole lot of time to think on it. But the last couple of weeks that have been slower, I've really had this sense of like wanting to kind of really grow the community, and what the best avenue is to do that. Kind of going along with what you said about like hashtags are dead, which I agree. I don't think that they are dead, but I'm finding that with Instagram, it's getting more difficult, I think, to see things. It's very limiting. I feel like Instagram doesn't always show me things with a hashtag. Like I'll have a friend that will post something and I'll see they have it hashtag Film Follow Friday, but then when I go in the hashtag on Instagram itself, the photo's not there. Or it won't show up for like 3 or 4 days or something like that. So it has like its limitations. So I've been kind of trying to figure out, okay, so how can we continue to grow the community? What's the best avenue for doing that? So I've been kind of just tossing around different ideas, and maybe making it its own page, and then also maybe, I don't know, like a website feature or a print something someday. These are all kind of long-term big ideas that I've just been brainstorming, so nothing solid yet, but that's kind of the direction I'm hoping to head down with it.
I love that idea. I love the idea of doing it as like its own page, just as that and being able to repost it. And when I was doing Photo Native and the hashtag, I am Photo Native, and trying to see images of people had used that hashtag, it was a pain. It
Yeah.
was a pain. You like had to figure out different ways of searching it and stuff to like see it in chronological order, or it just wanted to show you what the algorithm wanted to show you, like what posts were actually trending or doing well with the hashtag, which isn't what I wanted. I wanted to see everybody's, like you're wanting to see everybody's. So I love that idea of doing it as its own page, an Instagram page. That would be super fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So keep your eyes peeled because that is likely going to happen.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
yeah. So, and then hopefully that too will just be, you know, I've also thought having its own page might help it grow a little bit faster rather than it just being me sharing stuff. Just because I can see how it could get kind of confusing with it being like, okay, you're a person, you're a business, but this is kind of a separate thing, so just
Yeah.
having a little bit more division between me and my business and then what Film Follow Friday is, I think, too, maybe would help other people to kind of join in and be active within it as well.
Yeah. That would be really, really cool. Okay. So is there anything else you want to leave with us? Where can we find you? Obviously use the hashtag Film Follow Friday because we said it 100 times today. If you're a film user, at least follow the hashtag so you can see the other cool, images that people post and get creative ideas. But where can people find you?
Yeah, so Instagram is probably the best, just at Kami Wittrock Photography. And then I'm on, Facebook, and I have a website too, but Instagram is typically the best. And I just want to say too, I hope people don't feel like they have to be doing experimental film photography or anything like that in order to share on Film Follow Friday. It's like I said, it's a very inclusive and encouraging group, and just share whatever you're shooting. So even if it's just, a picture of your kids on a snow day or whatever it might be, don't let anything intimidate you from sharing on there.
I feel like the film community is so kind and so inclusive. And you've got people who are like crazy professional, and then you have amateurs, and you just have hobbyists, and everybody is on the same playing field. And I know that your community is exactly the same. So, yes, if anybody, wherever you're at, and use the hashtag because the community is amazing and so supportive.
Yes, that truly is. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Kami. I appreciate you doing this really quickly with me today. It was really fun to talk to you and meet you in person, sort of. It was really fun. All right. Thanks.
Yes, thank you.